My guest on Late On this morning, Clifford T Ward. I'm wondering, Cliff, over the years that people must have recorded your songs once or twice. How much does that worry you about what they're going to do with the song? I mean, I would have thought you'd have preferred to have more control over what happens to your own song, really.
Well, no, on the contrary. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, or I would have thought as far as most writers were concerned, that any cover version is better than the no cover version. That's what it's all about, is getting your songs recorded. And I've been lucky, I think, in as much as every version of any song I've written that I've heard has always delighted me. The example that I can cite most recently is a song I wrote called The Best Is Yet to Come. And that was, in a sense, a personal song, because it, in a very sort of simple way, it outlined how I felt, at the time about things. And 6 different artists have since covered that song and have all done it in their own way and have made a marvellous job of it. Yet the sincerity of the song is still there in their performances.
So there's obviously enough for them to recognise in the song that strikes a chord with them, that allows them to put their own feelings into it.
Must be, yeah.
So let's hope that it also strikes a chord with enough other people too. I mean, are you hoping that there will be a sort of hit version of one of your songs?
Oh, I'd love it.
Not much.
I'd love it, yeah.
Have there been many over the years, in fact?
Hit versions?
No, cover versions.
Well, there's been stacks of covers, but nothing that's been, commercially that successful. Well, I don't know. It depends the way you look at it. I mean, Cliff Richard had put Up in the World on his Love Song album last year, and that was in the charts for, at least 37 weeks. We made a few bob off that one. And more recently, Art Garfunkel recorded the same song on his Scissors Cut album. That was a super version.
It must be very important for songwriters like that, because I remember, again, citing Art Garfunkel reminds me, Gallagher and Lyle really only came to a lot of people's attention when Art Garfunkel recorded Breakaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a hit single version at all, but just the sheer fact that a person of his stature, if you like, had turned his attention to their song.
Yeah, yeah.
You said that perhaps you ought to have remained a songwriter and not performed your own songs. Now, I mean, you have recorded them over the years, but the one thing you've never done, I think I'm right in saying, is you've steadfastly refused to ever perform them live.
Yes.
Now, why on earth is that?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose, you get these things. We all get our hang-ups and our inhibitions and so on, and I think I firmly had it in my head from the start that I just wanted to be a songwriter. Songwriter sounded right for me. And, I was never, in any case, to be totally honest, I just don't think I've ever had the confidence to be, to sort of go out and regard myself as being some really great entertainer, performer, whatever you want to call it.
Not enough of an exhibitionist, perhaps?
No, I'm not, no. I much prefer the quiet, private life. And I get my kick really out of the joy and satisfaction of writing a song. And then the bonus is to get someone else to record it. That for me is a great thrill as a writer. But I've always been tempted, and many years ago I used to perform, back in the early '60s and mid-'60s.
Your school groups and so on. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then we went on to be a professional group all over the continent and around this country for 3 or 4 years.
So you have actually done some live performing.
So I've done it, yeah. But then there comes the point where you have to. I mean, a most recent example is I was doing some television in Ireland, in Dublin for RTE, and I've got quite a following over there. They're lovely people, and I love going over there. And RTE invited me to do a series of concerts, and they wanted to film at the Opera House in Cork, which is a beautiful old opera house. They were going to film that one as a television special. So the whole thing was worked out financially and very carefully. But at the end of the day, I mean, I would have been in debt. It would have cost me money to do it, and really, there's no way that you can do that sort
It's a
of
bit
thing.
silly, isn't it?
I mean, it's so costly to put, to get a good band rehearsed and then to go out with all the right equipment and so on. It's a tremendously expensive thing to do, and unless you're hugely successful, I mean, if I were commercially very successful, then obviously I would do it because I would love it. It would be a marvelous project, and I'm sure a great experience. But to do it, when you're only sort of writing mainly and just sort of earning a fair living out of it, then it's out of the question.
You just touched on my final question, actually. It presumably is quite possible to, as you say, earn a fair living without going into that too deeply, just as a songwriter. I mean, that must be a lovely existence. Is that what you do? I mean, is that what your lifestyle is now?
Yes.
Virtually staying at home and writing?
And writing, yes, yeah.
Do you find you have to have a fair amount of discipline, though, to make yourself do it?
I should. I mean, and I tend to write in fits and bursts anyway. I mean, I tend to combine it with other activities. We tend to not consciously or intentionally, but my wife and I seem to spend our lives sort of buying up old houses. Not in numbers, but one at a time. Buying up old houses, and doing them up, and then selling them and moving on. And we've been for the last 6 years. We've been living out in Herefordshire in this rambling old mansion, which was totally neglected when we went there, and which nobody wanted to buy. And we made it into a veritable palace. And now we've just sold it and moved back into into Worcestershire, and bought a more comfortable cottage. So, I mean, it's not as if I'm lazy or anything. I'm very busy. But then, as I say, my writing tends to come in fits and bursts. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I find sometimes if I have a break of 2 or 3 months away from writing and then I get back to it, I find that I'm a lot fresher, creatively. So I think it's probably a good thing.
And what about record plans?
Well, no serious record plans at the moment. I'm just working on... I'm actually... made a start on a project which I'm financing myself. I'm paying for the thing myself, and it's just a collection of songs really, which I'm writing and producing and recording, and then I hope to get it finished sometime this year, hopefully by the end of the summer, and then who knows what I'll try and do with it. I might just put it in the archives with all my other stuff, or try and get some company interested to release it.
Well, I'll certainly look forward to hearing that when it comes out, Cliff. Hoping that it does. Good to know you're still around and still writing. And thanks very much for popping in and having a chat.
Nice to talk to you, Norman. Thank you. Lost again, your dreams all turned and tossed again, and mine all double-crossed again in the same old way. You won, I'm lost again. Lost again, I'm on my own, washed up again. All alone, mixed up again in the same old way.
Lost Again, the final song for this morning from my guest Clifford T Ward. Thanks to him for popping in. Nice to know he's still alive, kicking and writing the good songs too.